Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, YAHAWAH, BaHa SHAM, YAHAWASHI, BaHa SHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. And I just want to do a quick response to this video uploaded by the Elder Apostle Ramlab, GMS Info Doc, Channel 12. Subscribe, be edified. The title of the video, and yeah, it's that time again. All right, the annual, topic of grape. All right, which the Bible deals with how to handle, a situation and where it happens. All right, it gives us laws, statutes, and commandments on how to handle these things that occur and happen, all right, in civil everyday society. So it says, response to Deuteronomy 22 and 28, we want the smoke. And here it is, you have these individuals from the Sakari who still can't wrap their mind around the fact that we have a law, all right, on how to handle, all right, if a woman was graped, all right, or seized, all right, because the bulk of the emotions that come from this topic are centered around women and the term grape, or R-A-P-E, in which, when people think of that term, they usually associate it with someone getting their ass beat, blood, in a form of teeth knocked out. And they associate it with, what Esau Edom does, okay? But the true understanding of that word, if you just look it up, all right, as you can see here, it means to seize prey, okay, abduct, take, and carry off by force, okay? And this ultimately goes back to an ancient custom, all right, as you see, abduct, to seize, to carry off. It goes back to the ancient world, an ancient custom known as bride kidnapping. All right, as you can see here, all you would have to do is look it up and just go into the history, because a lot of these things that we bring out are ancient customs. When you deal with marriage and how it was commonly done amongst our culture, all right, the father handled the affairs of the marriage, all right? The father and the mother sometimes, the mother will be involved as well, will go and find, their son, all right, or their daughter, all right, a partner, all right? They would link with another notable family of the best stature if possible. If I know that, this particular family is upstanding and they have inheritance, they have, particular, land masses, and they're known for their nobility, and they have land and sheep and cattle, I would, try to link my daughter, with a son of that family, all right, for the purpose of the union, because marriage in, ancient Israel was the joining of houses, it's the joining of families, okay? So that's why, before the marriage took place, all right, you would have, agreements and arrangements made, all right? And within those arrangements, the father, would set it up, what if, she's a widow, what would she get? What if there's a divorce? What would happen if this, if that? And it's all in line with the law. All right, but that was the proper way of marriage. The father would handle the affairs of it. He would receive the dowry of his liking, whatever he required, because, a daughter being taken out of your house is pretty much, a servant being taken out of your house. Okay, So the father would be compensated monetarily, or through work. Like you go back to the story of Jacob and Rebecca. He worked for Laban, some years, 7 years, and then he did it again another 7 years, all right, to get, all right, the daughters, all right, and when we bring out these particular customs, you have to understand that we're bringing out ancient customs. And all right, these guys from the Sakari, all right, yeah, they're known for, going into particular things, all right, but there's a blockage. It's like these men can't wrap their mind around an ancient custom, all right? They think like Western individuals when it comes to ancient Eastern customs. Okay, so when we bring out this topic of grape, and the reason I'm going into this is because I know that there's new listeners. You may come across a particular video or comments or something saying that, GMS, they promote, rape and they're rapists and this and, all of that crap, which is complete foolery. It's just their emotions, as we'll go into the law in the scriptures. But, we understand that, this form of marriage, all right, that is a result of grape or seizing or humbling a woman in a way that you don't go through the proper channels. It wasn't the common way. Okay, what we go into is the law, all right, on how to handle a marriage if in fact grape, all right, or if the term grape is a little too harsh for you, all right, seizing. All right, if a particular man sees a woman, okay, and he's turned on by her, and he takes it, okay, he seizes her and takes her to his place and goes and lay with her, all right, then ultimately the law, statutes, and commandments, if she wasn't married or already betrothed, meaning promised to another man, then, all right, ultimately, as we'll show you, the guy who took her would have to pay the dowry to the father, and ultimately he would have to take that woman to be his wife forever. He couldn't put her away, which, if that law was in place, that would keep men from going out and committing the act of grape. They would do things in order because there's money involved. Now you have to put your time and resources into this woman. So basically the law that we bring out on grape, as we'll show you, all right, was it made you responsible in your actions, you see. And what most people, when they hear this topic, the first thing they think of is the mere emotion. All right, now these things happen. Okay, I don't understand why the Sakari and why these particular camps can't wrap their mind around grape happens. Okay, so the Bible offers solutions on how to handle it if it happens. That's all we're saying. And we'll go into how the Bible says to handle it. Now, this custom goes back to a ancient custom, which is still practiced today in certain Eastern cultures, known as bride kidnapping, all right? Also known as marriage by abduction. Again, when you think of the ancient way, when you think of ancient laws, ancient customs, all right, a lot of them are going to challenge you mentally. It's not going to be what you've learned and what you've known to be reality. It was a very different environment, okay? And you have to come to the conclusion that the way Esau handles, all right, these situations in his society are completely wicked and off. A lot of you really think that the way Esau handles particular situations and the way you've grown to know situations to be handled, okay, are good and above the way that the Lord handles situations. Okay, and you can't think with a Western mentality when breaking down and going into these scriptures. So all you have to do is look up this bride kidnapping, also known as marriage by abduction or marriage by capture, is a practice in which a man abducts the woman he wishes to marry. All right, and that goes back to the saying, swept her off her feet. Okay, swept her off her feet. And you can go into that. I'm not going to, go too deep into that. You can look this up It's a very known custom. All right. And that's here, here's the biblical form of it. Okay. When we go into the book of Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter, let me pull. All right. We'll just go here to Deuteronomy 22. So that, the Apostle Ramla was responding to a video done by the elder brother, Karata Zaba. And this topic comes up every year or every couple of months, and we just go into it, for the sake of edification, and again, you just got to take your emotions out of it. We're not saying that, men every day, this is how marriages were arranged, and, it's just men just went around graping and seizing. All right. That's why the scriptures say, all right, keep a sure watch over your daughter. Okay. Let's get that scripture real quick. Okay. Keep a sure watch. I believe it's in the book of Sirach, the 30 or the 40. Keep a sure watch. Let's pull it up this way. Give me Salakia. Forget where it's at. Right. All right. Sirach, the 42nd chapter. Okay. And the 9th verse. The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth, and the care for her taketh away sleep. All right. Because you have men, all right, who you just, if your daughter is just out there wiggling around and gathering abroad, hey, she could be taken. So, and the care for her taketh away sleep. Okay, going back to ancient customs, the way things were done. I was just looking at a short, all right, where an individual was saying, I'm not marrying no woman in the West. All right, in my country, in India, he was from India. All right, the way that the marriage was done is, all right, I would have to speak with your father. See, in our culture, it would be the heads of the houses would meet, all right, to arrange a marriage between the son and the daughter, okay? So right here is saying, when she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age, meaning she passed her puberty, she has a cycle, meaning she's ready to bear children, and being married, lest she should be hated, okay? And the last thing a father wanted was his daughter to be a whore, all right, or to end up in a crazy situation. In her virginity, lest she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house. See, the father wanted to give away his daughter before she was found with child. See, she was supposed to be given away, not while she was in his house. And having a husband, lest she should misbehave herself, and when she is married, lest she should be barren. Keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, lest she make thee a laughing stock to thine enemies, and a byword in the city, and a reproach among the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitude. So a shameless daughter, or a daughter that's out of order, is a stain to the family's name. That's why a lot of daughters would be cut off from their family's houses, all right, if they, all right, were rebellious, out of order, and whores. That's how a lot of women in the ancient world and in this time end up as prostitutes. All right, but again, these are things that, Jake can't seem to wrap their mind around, that have always happened. All right, remember, we're living in a fallen state. Okay, of course, in the kingdom of heaven, things will be completely perfect amongst our nation. We won't have to worry about things like this. All right, but these are this is one of the conditions of the battle. Okay, is that a man, could see a daughter and take your daughter. That's why you would keep a sure watch over your daughter and be, all right, mindful. So the book of Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter, gives us an outline of laws on how to handle these things if they occurred. Okay, so this is the book of Deuteronomy 22, and let's see here. Let's start at 22 or 20. I start at 22 just for the sake of time. If a man, because it gives three or 4 examples of grape and how to handle them when they happen. It says, if a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, see, this woman is married to a husband, then they shall both die, both the man that lay with her and the woman, so that evil shall be put away from Israel. Okay? So ultimately, this woman was married, so that's adultery. She's already married, all right, and a man is lying with her, all right, ultimately that's adultery, all right? Verse 23, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, and if a man find her in the city and lie with her, okay, it says, then ye shall bring them both out to the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones, and they die, because the damsel, all right, who was betrothed, meaning promised to. So in a betrothal period, that's like an engagement in the ancient world, all right, ancient Israel, to where pretty much during that period, she's supposed to be preparing herself for the union she's getting ready to have. So another man can't come into her. Okay, so in this particular example, all right, they would both be stoned, all right, because she cried not out. She's supposed to cry out that I have a husband. I'm betrothed already to somebody. All right. So in this example, you shall bring them both out to the gate of the city and stone them with stones, that they died, the damsel because she cried not out, being in the city, and the man because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you. Okay. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. Why? Because again, she's betrothed. All right. And in this situation, only the man dies. Why? Let's read it. We have to keep reading to understand what this is saying and why it is saying it. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For when a man riseth against his neighbor, for as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. All right. In the NLT, do nothing to the young woman. She has committed no crime worthy of death. She is as innocent as a murder victim. Why? When you keep reading, since the man raped her out in the country, it must be assumed that she screamed, but there was no one there to rescue her. All right. So this damsel cried out. This damsel screamed and cried out. All right. And ultimately, her crying out clears her of guilt. Right. The man only dies in this situation. The damsel who's betrothed to another man is free from penalty. See? All right. So let's keep going. That's another example. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, see, and lay hold on her and lie with her, all right, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels. All right, these are examples of bride kidnapping, humbling, all right, seizing, sweeping her off of her feet, which that goes back to an ancient custom. You would sweep her off her feet, all right, and then they would disappear for a whole moon cycle. That's why it's called honeymoon. Okay, and when they came back, they would be married. All right, now the proper way of a marriage, we know, is through order, through a family meeting, all right, through an engagement. They would have a party, a feast of a whole week. Goes back to, you can go into the scriptures, all right, and it talks about the fulfillment of a week. All right, they would have a feast, you know, and party and dance and drink and eat for a full week, sometimes 2 weeks. You can go to the book of Tobit, goes into that. And then the man and the woman, all right, would enter into the secret marriage chamber, the marriage chamber, and they would consummate the marriage by sex. They would present the token of virginity, and boom. All right, but this is a situation, and we're damn. All right, well, okay, she's not married, she's not betrothed. Okay, so we can't put the man to death. So in this situation, all right, verse 29 in the NLT, he must pay her father 50 pieces of silver. Then he must marry the young woman because he violated her, and he may never divorce her as long as he lives. Boom. Okay, I don't understand what's so hard to understand about that. That's a very clear and straightforward breakdown. All right, but what men will say is, well, that's the same as this law here, entice. All right, Exodus 22:16. If a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. If her father refuse to give him unto her, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. All right, and ultimately this is another way. This is ultimately a man who sees a woman and it just spits game to her. Okay, when you look up this word entice, okay, how do you entice somebody? Through talking to him. All right, patha, all right, to be spacious, to be open. You open her up to you. Okay, to be simple, to deceive. And when you spitting game to a woman, you saying all kind of shit. You charming her. So basically, you talk this woman into, oh, let's go back to my spot. I got a yada, yada, yada. All right. And ultimately, you lay with her. That's different than this situation we're reading about here in Deuteronomy. Okay. Because this word lay hold, because this man laid hold on this one, which is that ancient custom we were just looking up called bride kidnapping. The Hebrew word is to what? All right, thapash, to catch, to handle, to lay hold, to seize. See? Which ultimately in the English is just rape. All right, but we know that word is associated with much emotions. All right, but again, we're ancient men coming back. Okay? We're bringing the truth out for what it is. Just like this word is used in the chapter prior. Okay? Deuteronomy 21 or 20 and 19, when Deuteronomy 21. Okay, this word is also used here. Deuteronomy 21 and 18. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, when they have chastened him, he will not hearken unto them. Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out to the elders of the city and of the gate, and they shall ultimately his ass shall be stoned, which is another law. All right, that is very contrary to what we have known here in this time. So that word lay hold is not entice. So at the end of the day, all right, this all boils down to men are ashamed of the law, but they boast in the law. Here it is. These men boast in the law, but they can't wrap their mind around an ancient law. All right, to where if a man sees the woman, okay, and ultimately lay with her, he would have to pay if she wasn't betrothed or married. Okay, we have to keep that in there as well. Ultimately, he, because he violated the natural custom of how to get a wife. All right, maybe he had the money and was like, look, I've been looking at this daughter, I'm gonna get her ass one day, and he did it. Well, ultimately, he would have to pay the father. And when you go back to the ancient mindset of fathers, they wanted their daughters married off, all right, as young as possible after the flower of her age was passed, or betrothed or promised to a man, because it's a business deal, it's a transaction. All right, and the daughter is being taken out of his house. Marriage and things like that was very important in our customs. It wasn't like today where a woman could just grow up and roam free, go to college and, get ran through and, settle down at 40, and get married. No, man, it was a whole, again, that's why it's important. Jeremiah 6 and 16. Okay. Jeremiah 6 and 16. All right. It's important. All right. Israel rejects the way of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the way and see and ask for the old paths. All right. where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your soul. And you guys are not finding rest for your souls, because ultimately you're rebelling against the things that the Lord set in place. And you're ashamed because in this world, that sounds crazy, barbaric, demonic. The woman loses. She should be able to choose. What about her? The say so, or the lips wet. Just a big emotional Hebrew nigga. And it doesn't make sense that we still have to continuously go over this. All right. And our apostles and the elders have been bringing this out for years. So they're just straightforward with what the Bible says. OK, but at the end of the day, this is a law that we have in case grape happens. If it happens, we look at the situation. The elders of the city would look at the situation and pass the judgment base. OK, in this case, she didn't have a husband and she wasn't promised to someone already. So this is the custom. This is what you would have to do. Nigga, you got to take, you break, you buy. Now, if this law was in place, men would be mindful. Okay, I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to grape her. I'm going to just, I'm going to save up, or I'm going to, get my situation right. And I'll go to the father or try to see if I can get her betrothed to me until the time is right. Because that happened too. You would, the betrothal period could sometimes be for years. All right. Maybe, the young maid isn't mature to your liking. So you betroth her to you. That promises her to you so that no other man, all right, can run up, all right, or go to the father and try to get her. Then, basically in that situation, all right, she's promised to a man as far as betrothal. And that's the breakdown. I mean, it's very simple. The Apostle RamLah went into other aspects of the dowry and all of that, but we got to take our mind out of Babylon and start thinking, all right, and looking at things according to the ancient way. It's not that we're going to go and live these things out, but you get rest for your soul when you know and understand how the Lord handled things. All right. And yeah, some of it makes you uncomfortable. Some of it is like, wow. I mean, the stoning of a child because he's rebellious. I mean, imagine how many children would be stoned right now if we could apply that law. These are things that are like, yes, shocking, surprising to the soul. But when it comes to ancient customs and dealing with the scriptures, you just got to grow the hell up, man. Shalom.